So what's better than one box of crafty supplies on your doorstep? Two boxes. Let's take a look at what's new in my studio. So let's start with the Stampin' Up! Order. I got a couple of my essential things that I use all the time, the dimensionals and some medium white envelopes. These also come in the very vanilla color, which is an ivory color. Recently, I ordered some envelopes off of Amazon. I was attempting to save money, and I wasn't paying close attention because I didn't save any money. I had put these in my wish list, and then later on I ordered them, and I don't know if the price went up or if I just really didn't pay attention. But when I got them, I realized they cost more than the Stampin' Up! Ones. And when I went to use them, they had a linen kind of finish, and I was using labels on them. The labels wouldn't stay stuck. I had to glue a lot of the labels on. So I'm back to Stampin' Up! Envelopes. That's what I'm going to stick with. They are a really good value for the money. Most of what I got, though, was off of the clearance rack. And I just checked, and a lot of this stuff, including all these ribbons, and I think all of these things we'll look at in a moment, are still available in this pink paper. Some of the other papers are gone, but there's a lot of good stuff out there for a good price. When Stampin' Up! Puts things on sale for clearance, they really do a good sale. So some very good prices. I have some purple ribbon. It's a kind of a sheer-like ribbon that I got. Now, I keep saying I want to get rid of my ribbons. I want to get rid of my ribbons, but I'm a real sucker for ribbons because I love I love fabric and I love textures, and so ribbons just really accentuate that. And these kinds of very flat ribbons just work on a lot of cards, and again, the prices are always good whenever they reduce them. I got a denim, like jeans, denim ribbon goes with a lot of stuff. So I've had some before, but not anything just this basic that I can work with everything. This is similar to a Stampin' Up! Ribbon that I got one time before in similar colors, and I loved it. I think I've used every last scrap of it until now. It's two-sided. It has different colors on each side. There's like an old olive side, and then there's a side that's kind of a peacock blue, green. I'm not sure what the Stampin' Up! Color was for that, but this makes a really pretty finish to a card. And I a lot of times just run my ribbons across the card and not even really tie them, but it just adds a little bit of texture and color to the design, and I try to keep it flat for mailing. Something that I have been out of for a while, or low on, is pink paper. And Magenta Madness was an end color at one point in time, so they had this on clearance. This was what I was looking for when I shopped with them in October when they did their clearance rack refresh, and they didn't have any of this stuff, but they have it out there in December, and this was one of the things that was still available at least a few minutes ago when I looked. So I guess that's 24 sheets of paper, and it was a really good price on this magenta cardstock. So it's lighter than their regular magenta, but a darker pink. And then I got these gems. This is From My Heart Faceted Gems, and they're kind of a flat gemstone, so you can put it on a card and still not have a lot of, they've got some height to them, but not super high. So they look like gems, but they're sort of flat. And I think these would be pretty on Valentine's cards with those colors. I could have used them on Christmas cards if I had them in time. Now, these are called Sequins for Everything. And I have a feeling when I take the top off of this, I may regret buying them. But I do get a lot of cards in that have sequins on them. But I don't tend to buy sequins that much. And what I liked about these were they were just simple colors. Red, green, a yellowy orange, and then the gold and white. So I'm not going to take the lid off of them right now because I think I'd have sequins everywhere. But it looks like this is something you can open and close and use those on cards. Or on a scrapbook page. I will definitely keep the box so that it came in. I try to keep them as contained as possible. Now, then I got a lot of paper. So let's take a look at some of the papers. This one is called Heart and Home. It's 12 by 12. I think this was available still. I bought this mainly because I liked the wood grains. Seeing it in person, some papers are really prettier in person. You'll see in a moment one that I'll tell you is a lot prettier in person than it looks probably on camera. This one, it looks okay. I don't think it's quite my favorite wood grain, but there are a lot of good patterns in here. So like all the Stampin' Up! Papers, you get 2 sheets of each design. So, and they're printed, so each one has, you got 2 of these. So this, I'm not crazy about bees, so I'll definitely use the wood grain on the other. We've got a floral paper and then another one of the wood grains on the back side. Then we have this lavender print. I love that, and it's got a wood grain on one side as well. It's hard to find good purple papers. A really pretty navy and white, and it also has a good wood grain. Another floral. Probably use the B side more for that. And this green, I would have definitely used that at Christmas if I had had that. Okay, so that's a good generic set of papers. And then we have a Valentine set called Sweet Talk, which I did get with the expectation of doing some type of a Valentine card swap. I don't know for sure that that's going to happen, but I hope it does. So this first paper is definitely Valentine's A and B side. And then this next one has a nice red and white print that you can use for anything. Here's a very Valentine-y paper. Be pretty on cards, but the back side is pretty generic in that peach. A nice stripe. Love stripes when I'm doing scrapbooking. Cutting something like this in a stripe just frames photographs. It's really usually a fun element on a page. Seeing this paper makes me want to do a scrapbook page. I don't know of what, but for something about this just makes me really want to scrap that particular paper. And the back side is a great lavender print, another thing that's hard to find in scrapbooking. And then this last one has a good small print that would make great cards for Valentine's Day. And the last thing in this order is one of those papers that looks beautiful in person. I don't know how it's showing up on the camera, but this is all metallics. It's one of their specialty papers. The regular price on this was, I think, $15. I don't remember what I paid. I want to say $7, $6, $7, something more than 50% off. The entire order that you've seen, including this, there were 11 items, including 2 at regular price, and then the rest on sale, was $58, including tax and shipping. So a little over $5 an item, which I think is a really good price for Stampin' Up! Stuff. So we have this gold on one side, and then we have a pretty gray print on the other. Another gold and cream print, and then another pretty gray print. I love beautiful design. Keep that in mind. That would make a pretty free motion quilting design. I love the Art Deco on this. My husband's a big fan of Art Deco, so I have a feeling that'll end up on a card or something for him. And then we have some silver and gold on this gray paper. Pretty B-side as well. This one has copper, and I think I still have some copper embossing powder. I know I have gold and silver embossing powders that could work with these for other elements to go with these papers. And good B-side prints for these as well. So that is what I bought on my Stampin' Up! Order. And now let's look at the other order that I got in. So I did also get a few things in from Blick Art Materials or dickblick.com. These are watercolor supplies. I've got some Arches cold pressed watercolor paper. They have about the best price on that. I have one of the Princeton snap brushes. I learned about these from Emma Lefebvre, but her videos, and I will include a link down below to her channel. She has her own brushes now, and I have a set of those on order. I'm hoping they're going to get here to go into this video, but they're kind of sitting in one place. I think they're probably going through customs, is my guess, but I don't know for sure. but I'm really excited to be getting those. But in the meantime, her set does not come with the size 4 brush. And I have used several of the other snap brushes, and I have seen them recommended in an earlier video of hers, one of her early ones, I guess. And I really like them because they do have a lot of snap. When you're painting with them, they just really really work well. And I'll show you here in just a moment. We'll put this one to work, but they're also really pretty inexpensive. So I have several sizes of these now, and I just didn't have a size 4. I have some white gouache. A lot of the winter cards I'm seeing use this for snow, and I've never worked with gouache, so this will be my first time doing that. You can mix other colors, watercolor in with white, and it kind of mutes it, but you can do some other colors, but I just particularly needed the white for that. And I have a couple of other shades of paint here that we're going to experiment with, but first I'll mention this pencil. This is a 2B pencil, which is a little bit darker than the one I've been using to draw on my watercolors. This is, they recommended this at an art supply store I was at. H6, which is the hardest one. It makes a really light line. But this is a softer one, and I saw this on a video online, that if you have something you're trying to transfer, instead of using graphite paper, you can just go over the back, and maybe everybody does this, but I didn't know how to transfer things. And this makes a much darker line than my other pencils. So really fine lines. So this makes a darker line, and then when you draw with a pen, which I can't seem to find a pen, so I'll use my pencil, I guess. Then as you mark over things, then it transfers that graphite onto your paper. So that's what you can use if you have printables that you want to transfer. And so that to me is a lot easier because I don't do a lot of that, so I don't really feel like I need to store that or keep up with the graphite paper. Now the new colors that I bought, I have never tried the Cotman watercolors from Winsor & Newton. This is a cheaper line. I had a student grade watercolor paint when I first started, and I felt like it was real grainy and I didn't like it. So I'm going to give this a try. This is also a suggestion, I think, from Emma's videos that she uses a lot of these. I'm going to love it if this works, but I'm also going to hate it that I spent so much money on a lot more expensive watercolors. And I went ahead and bought the more expensive watercolor in the Payne's Gray color because, again, I'm seeing this a lot on the winter videos that I'm watching for winter skies and things. A lot of this Payne's Gray. So let me put some of these out in my palette and we'll give them a try. And I almost always have to use my shirt tail to start opening these things. Ooh. And the purple's going to come out. This is Dioxazine Purple. And I really should let that dry completely before I start using it, but we're going to experiment with it anyway. And then we have the Payne's Gray. And I don't really have a good place to put gray, but I'm going to put it over here. Kind of run out of room on my blue-gray side. All right. So let's get a little bit of water and see what these colors look like. As I said, this is going to be super, super dark because I didn't have a chance to dry it. But yeah, that's a really pretty deep purple, and it does not look grainy. So we'll see how it does as I use it over time. And I'm actually using my size 6 snap brush instead of the 4, but get the idea. All right, and then this is Payne's Gray. Oh, that is such a pretty color. A really pretty blue gray color.